What is a hernia? A hernia is a sac formed by the lining of the abdominal cavity. The sac passes through a hole or weak area and a strong layer of the abdominal wall that surrounds the muscle, called fascia. Characteristics of the hernias. A hernia appears when there is a weakness or hole in the peritoneum. This defect in the peritoneum allows the organs and tissues to penetrate or herniate, which produces a bulge or protrusion. There are different types of hernias, depending on which part of the abdomen they are. Hiatal hernia, epigastric hernia, umbilical hernia, inguinal hernia, incisional hernia, femoral hernia. Hiatal hernia. A hiatal hernia is a condition that occurs when a person's stomach bulges through a weak point in the diaphragm, a muscle that separates the lungs from the abdominal organs. If you have a hiatal hernia, you're more likely to have problems with acid reflux. Epigastric hernia. An epigastric hernia is one that occurs in the epigastric region of the abdomen. If you have an epigastric hernia, you may be able to feel it when there is pressure on the abdominal wall, such as when you cough, laugh, or bar down to have a bowel movement. Umbilical hernia. Umbilical hernias are those in which tissues in the body bulge through an area of weakness in the belly button area, causing a visible bulge that's usually worse when you cough or strain when having a bowel movement. Inguinal hernia. An inguinal hernia is a bulging of the contents of the abdomen through a weak area in the lower abdominal wall. Inguinal hernias most often contain fat or part of the small intestine, and, in women, it may contain part of the female reproductive system. There are two types of inguinal hernias. Direct inguinal hernias, these are most often caused by a weakness in the muscles of the abdominal wall that develops over time. Indirect inguinal hernias is caused by a birth defect in the abdominal wall that is congenital. Incisional hernia. An incisional hernia can occur after a person has stomach surgery, which usually involves an incision down the middle of the stomach. If the surgical wound doesn't heal completely, that person can be more vulnerable to developing a hernia. Femoral hernia. A femoral hernia occurs when tissue pushes through a weak point in the groin area. The hernia could affect the femoral artery and vein, and block blood fluid to and from the leg.